Hey, Arrow.
Hey, John, how are you doing today?
Excellent. How are you?
Fantastic. Dude, I am so proud of you. Oh, my God. The Music Matters Challenge is so what we have needed for so long. And the way that you're spreading it around the nation today is just a beautiful place to be.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think we're all in this together, and certainly we can agree that every kid in the country deserves a music teacher, and that's really our end goal with this thing.
Well, I know what no music in school has done, and the reason why is because my wife is a school teacher, and the way that they move music, they had a traveling teacher, and you might get 15 or 20 minutes. That's not what music is all about.
Yeah, that just makes me so sad. I mean, the metrics are clear that music is not extracurricular, that it's critical. And schools that have a music teacher, kids perform better in the sciences. The graduation rates are higher. Their social connectivity is higher. Their anxiety goes down. We could talk for an hour about all the metrics and the data, but I mean, it's common sense. When you have music in your life, especially at a young age, especially in elementary school and when you're forming your brain and your personality and your kind of drive and discipline, music is as critical as any language. And that's really what I think we're pushing and why this Music Matters Challenge I think is important, but it's also fun. It's fun that we can kind of tell our stories and sing a song and join this movement.
I love the way that you said that it's a language, because it is. When you break down a song, and I mean, go to the origin of why that song came into being, then now let's sit there and look at how it was written and how a team had to come together to create the music for it. That right there is what camaraderie is all about.
I'll tell you a story. I was in Ukraine a year and a half ago, and I was recording a song I wrote, Can One Man Save the World, with the Ukrainian orchestra in a bombed out airport. And a general came over and said, through a translator, I want to hear the song. And the orchestra was very moved, and we started playing, and I started singing, and there were tears, and at the end everybody was hugging each other, and it was a very heavy moment. And I realized that none of them knew the words. They didn't speak English. Wow. It was music. It was the music that brought us together as human beings in that, very heavy situation there. So I've seen music make miracles through my I could tell you, story after story how music makes miracles. And that's why I think, every kid deserves a music teacher. It's something we can all agree on.
We got to put the website on there, because I don't want to forget that. It's letmusicfillmyworld.com. And what you're doing is this is a fun challenge where they get to create a rendition of the song, Let Music Fill My World. Go deeper into that. How is it that, I mean, their own rendition, this proves to me that music evolves.
It does. And this actually started with a song that I wrote with some inner city Chicago kids from Farragut Academy a year and a half ago. And we wanted to write a song because they had lost their music teacher. And we spent 6 weeks. The kids wrote the whole lyric. We went into a recording studio, re-recorded it. You can see that video on YouTube, Let Music Fill My World with Farragut Academy.
Yes.
And through that process, we raised $300,000 through the Tolman Foundation to provide a music teacher for that school for 3 years. They now have a music teacher. Those kids have a music teacher. And the Music Matters Challenge, when people enter and make their video telling their story about a music teacher that mattered to them, sing a little bit of the song, play a little bit of the song on an instrument, do a little dance. You certainly don't have to be a singer. And enter the contest. The grand prize is we're going to do that again. We're going to participate with the winner and provide a music teacher for a school in need for $300,000 for 3 years. The winner will win 10 grand. That doesn't hurt. And we'll have a school prize where schools can compete and win a $25,000 grant. So there's a lot of fun. Whether you win or not, you're helping contribute to a school music teacher for a school that doesn't have one. And hopefully, like the Ice Bucket Challenge, it'll take over America and we'll have a lot of fun in April. It
reminds me so much of the way that radio was back in the early days when we would sit there and listen to Casey Kasem and dream of one day being talked about on that show. I mean, that to me is the participation, because even the viewers and listeners will get the opportunity to vote in this process.
It's funny. I actually sat in once for Casey Kasem and did the countdown and I never realized how exhausting and hard it was. My appreciation for Casey Kasem went through the roof. But no, you're exactly right. Everybody has a chance to win. Whether you have 1 follower, 10 million followers, we'll have 10 finalists, as you said, at the end of April. In both categories, the school category, the individual category, and then the public will vote. And it should be a lot of fun. And I, for one, can't wait to start seeing everybody's videos.
Yeah. Music has always had an impact on the community, but sometimes people will kind of shy away from that thought. When, in fact, I remember when Dolly said that music is how people got their news. That's how they learned about other communities.
That's amazing, and isn't that true? And I think we can learn from history by music, right? You listen to the music of the 60s, you get a sense of the times through music in ways you can never get from reading a book or reading an article. And I think that's why, we've kind of lost a little bit of that. I think with kind of the segmentation of music, the conglomerates of radio stations, I think we've lost a little bit of that. And I think this is one way that we can remind ourselves that music is a critical piece of our culture and how we express ourselves and how we come together and how we talk about the world around us. And I think that's what we want to make sure every kid has the opportunity to grow up with that in their lives.
One of the things that I maybe I'm a jerk or so, but I'll see somebody that's extremely shy, and the first thing that I'll ask him is, "Are you doing anything with music? Are you tapping on things, or what are you doing?" Because music brings you out of being shy. It gives you an opportunity to display your art. We're not going to judge you. It may be, you might be out of tune, but we're still going to love you.
When we started this class with the kids from Farragut, so many of them were so shy. Yep. They didn't want to talk. I understand that they weren't musicians. They were just kids who liked music. And by the end, they were singing to each other. They were hugging each other. They were best buddies. And, one last little story that I think, really takes this to the limit. I remember one day I was walking off stage and Superman, my song, was embraced by the autistic community when it first came out. And there was a family with an autistic boy. And he's about 9 years old and severely on the spectrum, couldn't interact with you, was kind of having an episode. And the mother said to him, hey, this is the Superman singer. This is a Superman guy. And this kid literally stopped kind of his tantrum. He stood up. He walked right to my face, 2 inches away from my face. He looked me in the eye and he sang the whole Superman song verbatim.
I love it.
And at that moment, it was almost like a religious experience. I'm like, wow, there's something about music that transcends. And that really, I think, kind of, formed my passion for music for all these kids, wherever you are, whatever your capabilities. And I still get chills when I think about that young man.
Do you have a lot of memories of doing music in school? Because I can still see my 7th grade chorus teacher, as well as the room that we were in, the different tiers that we all had to sit in. The altos were over here and the baritones were over here.
Of course, yeah. I had this writing English teacher in high school who was a bass player, and that was his passion. And he let us do anything. He let me write my final essay on Steely Dan, analyzing, Asia. And that guy, was formative in my, my music journey. And I think nobody was happier when I started to have success than him, because I think he felt a part of my success. He was a part of my success, so folks like that along the way, my voice teacher, people like that. It's really, you look back with wonderful memories, starting with my mom. So it's a way to pay it forward for them. And also, one great thing about this Music Matters Challenge is it recognizes all our great music teachers across the country who do such an amazing job.
Wow. Analyzing Asia. I was a jock on the radio on an AM radio station. We depended on Asia to keep us on the air because this evil monster FM radio was stepping up.
Thank you, Steely Dan, for saving AM radio. Yeah, yeah. I can still listen to that record, over and over and over and over again. Probably one of the best sonically sounding records and musicianship ever made.
One of the things that we need to do is we need to show some love to Kaylee in the way that there is a story here on how this seed started and got you involved.
Yeah, the Tallmans, Kaylee and her father, Glenn, just do incredible work around the world, particularly in Chicago, where they're from. She's so passionate. She was a former member of our armed services. She's a musician herself, and her family is funding this whole Music Matters Challenge. They also help me go to Ukraine. They do amazing things. And Kaylee's kind of passion, her heart, her love for kids. We were at Farragut Academy a month ago and talking to some of the kids there, and just to watch her interact with them. She is a saint on earth. So this doesn't happen without the Tallman Foundation. We all have, good ideas and want to try to make the world a little better place, but you need people with resources. Yeah. And they are the ones funding this effort. They're the one providing the music teachers for the schools. And, thank God for them and all their amazing work, not just for the Music Matters Challenge, but throughout the whole nation.
Forbes magazine just recently announced that Don't Stop Believing is now the biggest selling single of all time. And I disagree with that, because I believe the greatest single of all time is sitting in someone's bedroom right now, and it has to come out. But who is going to teach that child to bring that song out?
Arrow, you're hired as our spokesman. That I couldn't say it better myself. And hey, and look, I spent a year finding Steve Perry's voice teacher because I wanted to study with that guy, because the voice was a huge instrumental part of my life. And I love that Don't Stop Believing is the biggest single ever, because I've probably sung it and listened to it 10,000 times myself. But you're right. Yeah. The best song, the best songwriter, the next Elvis is sitting somewhere and just needs a chance and just needs to be exposed to music. And that's what we're doing. And before we're done, we're going to make sure every kid in this nation has a music teacher and has that chance, especially in our inner city schools where many of them do not have a music teacher.
Well, I believe that we need music teachers because they really do train us how to speak in tune as well. Because as you grow through high school, and let's say you get into a debate class, you've got to be able to speak in tune. You've got to have a pace, your pitch, your volume, your tone. And that to me comes from a music teacher.
You're so right. It matures us. It forces us to be disciplined. We fail, and then we have successes. You can't just pick up a violin and start to play it. You learn that there's stages, and it takes time, and it's worth it to invest yourself in the arts. It gives people who maybe are not athletes a way to escape and find a passion. Again, you say it perfectly. It lets us find our voice, our heart, and our soul. And at a young age, it's so critical, right, to do that. Certainly even at my age, I'm 59 years old. I love hearing stories of people in their 70s picking up a music instrument and teaching themselves how to play. It's great when you're 5. It's great when you're 85. It's great for all of us. And you only got 100 years to live, so I'll end with that.
When I'm blessed with the opportunity to talk to all of these magnificent authors that have got books out right now, one of the things that I always bring up is music, because I have a passion for music. And I ask them, what were you listening to when you were putting this book together? My God, John, they have got the greatest stories of who they put into their life as they're writing those words.
Interesting. Like, give me a couple examples of some of the artists they listen to.
So,
like when they're writing.
It depends on the different scenes. Like, for instance, like if it's a scene that that's like very Tom Cruise like, they've got the dramatic music in the background. They'll have orchestra music. They'll sit there and they'll utilize their album collection. And I love the way that people are talking about that, because they want the real music behind them. Or they'll sit there and they'll listen to a Hootie and the Blowfish. They'll listen to popular music so they can get back into the culture of what they're writing about. Especially these YA authors for young adults. My God, when they say that they're going to go back 10 or 15 years, they've got to put themselves back there, and music is what puts them there. So, music teacher, teach that.
That's so fascinating. And I have a lot of friends in Hollywood too. And I know they do that as well. And there's nothing better, for a film or a scene when you mesh the perfect scene with the perfect music. I've been blessed to have a lot of my songs in film, and I've watched people do this. It's an art. But yeah, it's when the Iraq war started, I started getting emails from our troops who talk about how they use music to escape, to pump themselves up for a mission, to calm down, to connect with home in so many different ways. So I think music has a place for everybody, whatever you do, especially our soldiers, and to see that music helps their mental wellness was an education to me. So yeah, I mean, I think we could go on and on, but I think we all use it in ways we need it.
Well, look at the way that you're using music in your own personal life right now. Going out there on the road with a 4-string quartet. Oh my God, that's an exploration.
It's so amazing. I have these A-list Broadway players. My violin player Katie just won a Tony Award, and to play with them every night across the country in small venues and do a very intimate show and a storytelling show, and when they play to Superman or 100 Years or Chances or The Riddle, the songs take on a new dimension. And they're so wonderful people. They love, all these, string Broadway players want to be rock stars, and they love playing rock music, and they're kooky and fun. And so we just have a blast. And as I said, it's an intimate family show. We always do a song that recognizes our troops. And so, yeah, we're starting next week in Fargo. We're going through April 7th, and I'm taking a little detour to Israel for a week. Then I'll come back and we'll wrap up our tour on the West Coast. So it's going to be a wild month.
Wow. When you're sharing that story, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, the nerdy kids in chorus and the nerdy kids in orchestra got together on your stage. I mean, that to me is what a music teacher is all about.
Yeah, and I'm a nerdy math major, so all the nerds are going to be hanging out on stage, and we'll nerd out together.
Once again, the website is letmusicfillmyworld.com. How does it all play out? What is the big day? Because you know how we are. We're procrastinators, John. What they need to put the move on now?
We will be launching the 26th, March 26th on Good Morning America 3. And that day, the website goes live. But you can certainly go right now to the website and check it out and watch some videos and see what we're doing, see all the details at letmusicfillmyworld.com. But yeah, we go live March 26th. The contest will run through the end of April. Then we'll pick 10 finalists. And in a couple weeks, we'll have the vote. And on, I believe it's May 14th, we'll announce the winners. And it should be a blast. And I appreciate you having me on your platform and making people aware of it.
You got to do some videos and things. When you crown that king or queen, the music teacher of the year, you've got to put some pictures up so that we can embrace it and make this grow well beyond 2024.
Oh, you're exactly right. Thank you. This is just step one. We're not a one and done. This is step one for the Let Music Fill My World project. So let's kick it off. Let's make it a success, and then we'll continue until every school has a music teacher. We're not going to stop till we have that realized.
Oh, man, I love where your heart is. Please come back to this show anytime in the future, John. The door is always going to be open for you.
Arrow, you're the best. Thank you, my friend.
You bet. You be brilliant today, okay?
You got it. You too.
Thank you.